I love musicals so much. I feel that it combines so many different things that I love. And surprisingly, I didn't love musicals for a while. I loved theater, and I was a classically trained theater performer, and I also studied opera on the other hand. But it wasn't until probably my 20s that I actually thought of combining the two and doing musical theater. I had two different worlds divided, and for some reason I just didn't see a place for myself in musical theater for a long time. I loved musicals, like The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins, but I just didn't think that that was for me. And when I was in college, I was finally in a musical. My first one was called 1940s Radio Hour. And I realized that, oh my goodness, this is very different from opera. It's very different from classical theater. It's combining some of the skills that I needed in both, but it was a chance to tell a story in song. And it's perhaps you've heard about this, where when you're in a musical and the emotions become very heightened and you no longer can speak your feelings, you have to sing them. When it comes from a very honest place, I think it's very moving and it's so beautiful. And many musicals have dance as well. So when it goes even beyond singing, then physically you must express it, and then you move your body, because I loved ballet also as a little girl. So it was combining movement and dance and storytelling and live theater and classical training, even in a very modern musical. It was combining all the things that I loved so much. It was magic. For me, that was magic. Hi, I'm Deborah Robin. If you want to learn more about Love Linda from P3 Theater Company, watch this video. I've probably been in love with theater since I was a really, really little girl. My dad was in the Air Force, and we were stationed in England when I was small. And I remember my parents took me to London to see some live theater there, including a pantomime, which was a really, really expressive form of theater. I remember it was Snow White, and it was magic. The smell of the lobby, the seats, the candy that they sold, the whole experience, and then watching a story come to life on stage with song and dance. I had found my happy place, so I knew that somehow I wanted to be a part of that. I think I fell in love with acting when I was in high school. I was kind of a late bloomer, so it wasn't until my senior year that I had the courage to audition for a play. So I auditioned for The Taming of the Shrew, and I got cast in it. And I played Catherine in Taming of the Shrew. And we also did the same year a production of The Princess Bride, which is one of my favorite movies, but we did a stage version of it. And I played the old woman who says, boo! And it was so much fun, and I started to realize that it was more than an interest and an obsession probably about that time in high school, where it was not just being on stage and performing, but also the community of theater and being around other people who had the same passion for performing that I did. I'd found my niche, I'd found my world, my home. It felt like coming home when I was on stage. I find that as a performer, I'm not just performing, even if it's a one-woman show. I'm not just performing by myself or for myself. The energy of an audience is always unique from performance to performance, and it's like we're all creating something together energetically. So the audience is so important, even if they're silent. The energy that they have contributes to the entire production of a show. It can change drastically from one audience to another, and I feel like when a person is watching something unfold live in front of them, it's just a completely different experience than watching a movie in which they're passive. An audience member watching a live show is really witnessing something that's precious and unique, and there will never be another performance exactly like it again. So I feel like they're really involved, even if it's not a comedy and they're not laughing and they're not clapping. Their presence just in and of itself changes the entire performance. When I'm preparing for a show, it could vary. My preparation for preparing for a show could vary depending on the type of show that it is. But as I prefer musicals, I usually start with the music. I start by learning it and making notes about it and making sure that I'm solid on it. And if it's a character who's really existed, like Doris Day, when I had opportunity to play Doris Day. In a way, it was easier because there was a wealth of movies and recordings to watch her and listen to her. If it's creating a new character that I've never played before, then it's kind of fun to build that from scratch as well. But I usually start with the music. That usually tells me everything that I need to know about the character, is how they sing, what they're feeling. I think musicals are good for the soul because they tend to come from a very emotional place that we can all relate to. And in a way, perhaps even more heightened than a typical play, although I think that, of course, plays can be extremely moving too. But I feel like music is so universal. I feel like even if you didn't speak the language, if you attended a musical, you would really understand what was happening, what was going on. And the music relates to so much of us universally. It touches our hearts in a way that words alone cannot express. So I think, and it can be such a balm for the soul, really. Whether we're seeing something that's joyful and happy and fun, or something that's even more serious or more dramatic, it really reaches out and touches us in a very deep and profound place inside. That beyond words, right? Beyond words. So very emotional, very deep, beyond intellect, in a very kind of a primal place that touches us inside. I think musical theater really reaches people that way. I first heard about P3 Theater Company because a friend of mine had gone to see a production of theirs. They were doing Steel Magnolias, and she wrote about it on Facebook and just said what a wonderful evening she had and how much she really loved the show. And then soon after that, I saw an audition notice for Day After Day, a show they were doing about Doris Day, and I actually reached out to my friend who'd seen Steel Magnolias and asked her, do you think this is a theater company that I would enjoy working with? And she said, yes, absolutely. It was an amazing, high caliber performance. The actors were incredible. It was a beautiful environment at the theater, and she thought it was extremely professional and something I could be proud to work with. I love working with the combination of John and Christy and Tony. They are so close. They are family, literally and figuratively, and they work together so well, and they just have this amazing dynamic energetically. And Tony, as director, is so much fun. He's very diligent. He notices every detail, and he's so passionate about what he does. He's been, performing and directing his entire life, and he just has so much incredible energy and a zeal and a love for theater and for music and for performing, and it's contagious. And Christy was absolutely delightful. I was learning from the best because she originally did play Doris Day, and she was invaluable in helping me learn and understand more about Doris and how to portray her and all of her music. Just Tony and Christy have a wealth of knowledge and information about Doris, and John is so kind and so loving and also so passionate about theater. They just welcomed me right in, and I felt comfortable and at home with them right away. It was a wonderful experience, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. So I'm so looking forward to working with John and Tony again for this project. I would work on any project with them. if they'd asked me to, if I was able to, if they'd asked me to be a background tree, I would do it because I love working with them. I've learned so much from working with them, and their love of what they do has a sort of magic within it, and it's impossible not to feel swept along like I'm in Wonderland or Oz when I'm with them, because they have such an incredible way of seeing the world. For Love, Linda, the life and music of Cole Porter, I had never heard of this show before. This was the first time I heard of it when John Peterson of P3 Theater Company reached out to me to see if I would be interested, if I'd heard of it. And I do love the music of Cole Porter, of course, Anything Goes. And I've heard his music so much, I didn't know much about his life. And I didn't know much about his wife Linda's life, so it was an interesting opportunity to learn more about her. And I love singing the music of Cole Porter, and this gave me an opportunity to learn about the life of this woman, and she was so remarkable in her own way. The story of Love, Linda, the life and music of Cole Porter, is helping us as an audience learn and understand a little bit more about Cole the man from someone who loved him very much. Linda and Cole had an unusual relationship, as you will see if you watch the show, but they were very devoted to each other. They were married to each other for more than 30 years, and lifelong friends and companions. And Linda, not only did she love Cole, but she absolutely loved his music and understood his talent as a writer, as a composer, as a musician. And from the very first moment that she saw him, as she recounts in her story as it unfolds about her life with Cole, she was captivated by this man. She didn't know when she first met him that he was famous in his own right, but she knew that he had a sparkle and a gift about him, and she made it her life's mission to support that and to support him. And she very firmly believed that the entire world needed more music from Cole Porter, and she was his strongest, in some ways his strongest influence, but his biggest fan, truly his biggest fan and supporter. She loved him very much. The Love Linda show is actually not all the music of Cole Porter, because he had so much of it, but the music in the show is Cole Porter's music as imagined by Linda, who herself in real life was not a performer, but she loved Cole and she loved his music, and she's expressing their life together, weaving his songs throughout the story of how they met, what their lives together were like. It was not always sunshine and roses. There was some conflict sometimes, but ultimately, especially at the end of their lives together, they were each other's biggest support. I would love for the audience to come away with a new and fresh perspective about Cole and his life, and of course the life of Linda, who you maybe wouldn't have known much about before the show. I'd like for you to enjoy the amazing music. It was so varied of Cole's. It was fun and it was light and it was clever, but it also talked about some themes that people wouldn't have felt so comfortable with, especially in the time in which it was written. So he was an incredibly brave musician and a brave composer and writer, as well as being fun. So I hope that the audience will enjoy the music of Cole Porter, but see it from a different perspective, from someone who loved him very much. And I hope that they'll learn a little bit more about the private life of Cole and who he was as a man as well as a composer. I am really looking forward to having an audience after all this time of not being able to perform. But I hope that I will see an audience that is smiling and enjoying themselves. And goodness knows all of us we need light, we need laughter, we need something to help us escape into another world sometimes. I hope that an audience will feel that, and they would be going on this journey with me as we explore the life of Cole, as we explore his relationship with Linda, as we explore their partnership and their camaraderie. So I hope that they'll enjoy more than just his music, but also his remarkable life as it unfolds before them, and especially after going for such a long time without being able to see live performances. I hope that this will be an absolute delight for members of our audience. I feel that people must go and see Love Linda if they want a chance to enjoy some amazing music, to escape into a very beautiful and quite glamorous world of the 1930s and the 1940s, to come away smiling and laughing, because Cole Porter was an incredibly funny composer as well as a gifted one. So I hope that they'll get some glamour, some romance, some escape, and most importantly, some fun. Cole Porter was a really fun musician. I found the P3 Theater Company to be more than a company, but a family, a very professionally run family. So they are absolutely professional, they are dependable, they are reliable, but the quality of their productions in every detail is absolutely impeccable. Beyond that, they are kind, they are lovely, they are delightful, they are fun, and they care very much about what they do. There's no ego. They're absolutely a delight to work with in every way. On stage and in rehearsals and off stage, absolutely wonderful. I highly recommend working with this company if you are fortunate enough to. If you're interested in working with the P3 Theater Company, I highly, highly recommend them. They, from the very, very moment from auditions, were so professional and so accommodating, so kind, patient, wonderful, and care so much about the art of theater. And it's impossible not to feel joy and happiness being in their presence. They are absolutely delightful. At this time, especially as people are starting to go back to live theater, I think that it's so important to show our support to P3 Theater Company, not just to continue the wonderful art of live performance, but because they give wonderful performances. They hire incredible performers. They give amazing shows. So in addition to supporting live theater, this is a theater of quality, of craftsmanship, of beauty and interest and talent. So I hope that you will support them, but also enjoy yourself. Live theater is such a gift, and I'm so delighted that it's coming back again. I hope that you will come and see Love Linda. I hope that you will enjoy it. I hope that you will escape with me into a beautiful world of long ago, of glamour, of beauty, of escape, and enjoy that with me. See you in the theater.